Let's put another song on.
Oh, bloody hell. I'm trying to do something else here.
Got it.
Do I need to push got it?
What was that?
Do I need to push got it?
I just told him to put another song on.
Right. Ian, put another song on.
Okay, we'll have another song on. Here's one for Martin then. We'll have some Rod.
Oh, God. Who? Right. Turn that blooming racket off. Although,
you just don't appreciate good music, Ad. That's the problem.
Yeah, I don't actually.
Sorry.
Right, we are live on YouTube now. Just putting the link up. Right, that's done. So we'll do the formal welcomes in a minute. Hello to our YouTube viewers. The radio viewers will be joining us in just a second because we're like Talk Sport. We simulcast, if that's the correct word of calling it.
I have no idea. Probably. Yeah.
Pete, did you go anywhere at the weekend?
I did. Yeah, I saw Billericay against Potter's Bar, and I managed to get into the VIP area.
Ooh.
Because I knew someone. Well, I went to meet someone. His friends. One of his friends has got a sponsor. One of his company sponsored Billericay. So
yeah,
I got him. So that was good.
Okay. Just off record, the Essex Senior Cup draw's just been done. Hornchurch versus Billericay. Cole U versus Southend or Braintree. Chelmsford versus Whittemore East Thurrock, and Canvey against Concord or Grays.
Canvey Concord. Come on, Concord. I knew they needed to win that. Also, we could have good two derbies in that then.
I must admit, you will laugh at this one. Braintree's Twitter page. Well, that's potentially one for the diaries. The winner of the Southend versus Braintree Town tie will face a trip to Britain's first city to play Colchester in the Essex Senior Cup quarter-final.
I was born in Colchester, actually, as well.
Well, and you live in Southend. There's no loss between them two, is there?
I mean, I can't help that, can I? Yeah. No support either. That Southend Braintree game is meant to be this Tuesday because it was meant to be just gone, but they postponed it due to a waterlogged pitch. I don't think it. I think Southend have got Darlington on Saturday, so they probably didn't want the pitch being destroyed by the under 18s or whatever they put out for that competition. So, but yeah.
Yes.
I've just looked at the league. I've just looked at the league that you're in, Seaward. Hounslow, what's gone on there?
I'm
there's a lot about that.
Minus 100 in 9 games.
Yeah. Hashtag beat them last week, 16-0, I think.
Wow.
I watched them last year when they played Portsmouth, and they were terrible.
I mean, fair play for them to keep turning up each week and playing. I mean, that must be a bit demoralising getting smashed every week. But I mean, I suppose they just enjoy playing, don't they? So, which is what it's all about, I suppose. But
yeah, I've just put.
I was like, is that a mystery?
I've just put the link in the Seagull group chat. I said if you want to watch it, then click this link. If you're like Gav and old fashioned, listen.
I,
Well, good evening and Happy New Year, and welcome along to the Grassroots Football Show on East London Radio and on our YouTube channel. It's Thursday, the 12th of January. It's 2023. The years fly by so quickly. We're into year number 8 of our programme now. I mean, I can't even believe that, but there you go. We'll be celebrating that next week, actually. It will be our 8th anniversary. So, yeah, but I hope everyone had a good Christmas and 2023 has started well for you. Joining us this evening, Pete's here, as per usual. Have a good Christmas.
I did. I got four days of sun in Greece over New Year, so
4 days, blimey.
good. Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, it was over 20 degrees in the sun. That was lovely. Then I came back and almost got blown off the plane. So yeah.
You were blown off Southend.
I thought I was just going to get back on and go back, I think, because it was awful. But yeah, that was good. Good way to start the new year. So
yes,
fun.
And of course, pushing the buttons and putting the music on is Ian.
Evening.
Have a good Christmas.
Yeah, it was quiet but good. Yeah, happy. Yeah. Good.
Okay, well, the main topic of conversation on the show tonight, we're going to be talking about how come there's such a high number of ACL injuries involving women footballers. And Pete, as you know, it's been well publicised across the national media, so we thought we'd take a look at it from a local perspective. And I'm pleased to say that 2 players from the women's team I'm involved with, and it's a fantastic club, London Seaward, are with us this evening. Striker Abby Dell and Katie Zidas. Did I say that correctly? Zidas?
Exodus.
Yeah. Katie Exodus are with us.
Like in the Bible, Exodus.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just thought of that right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And Katie Exodus are here. So evening, ladies. How are you both?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yes.
Good. Well, thank you, Katie. You good?
Yeah, all good. Thank you, Adam.
Excellent. Thank you very much for being here. If anyone wants to get involved with the conversation, they can contact us on Twitter at ELR Football, or just comment if you're watching. If you're watching on YouTube, then comment on obviously the live chat thing. Or if you're like Gav, the Seawood coach, and you prefer the old-fashioned wireless, then yeah, just get in touch via WhatsApp or Twitter, because he's
or fax.
I'm not sure if Gav might have a fax machine. Actually, you never know.
It's amazing the amount of people who don't even know what a fax machine is.
Yeah, just ask Del Boy, who was selling them a few years ago. But anyway, now obviously we're going to have this main conversation about this topic. So, first of all, part of the reason we've got Abby and Katie here is because they've got experience with all this. So, I don't know which of you would like to go first to talk about your experiences. I'll let you decide.
Abby done hers first, so I think she should go first.
Yeah, I've kind of set the trend now, haven't I?
Yeah.
That's you and that's Sky. So there's like 3 of us. Yeah. To be fair, I don't really know exactly how I did it. I know, like, obviously strikers and that, they always like go down in the box and whatever else. And there was just one stage I'd gone down and I was holding my knee. And then I thought, the physio came on and had a look at my knee. And after that, I just felt fine. Because I think, I don't know if I was like in the zone and I just like got all ready to go back on the pitch, and I still carried on playing. But when I think of it now, I think like, I actually played for like a few amount of games without no ACL. And so obviously, and then it was only a couple of weeks after, like, it started to hurt and that, and I thought, like, obviously, and it started to like swell up. So I thought, like, obviously it's not right. And then I put to MRI, and then I had that in February. And obviously they come back and said I had a full ACL tear, a torn meniscus, and I had fluid on the knee. So yeah, and then basically when she like, obviously when I answered the phone call from the doctor, she just said, no, you got your results back and you have a full rupture of an ACL. And I just froze. I just stopped. I didn't know what to say. I just heard the word ACL and I was like, oh no, like, just really didn't know what to do. And it does come like a shock to you, because you think like you do all the training and everything like that, and you keep yourself fit, and you're trying to eat the right stuff and all of that, and then you obviously still do it.
Yeah, it's just absolutely devastating, Abby. And I know what, obviously, I've never experienced it, so I don't know really what to say when you get an injury like that. But how I'm trying to face this correctly. Like we've seen so many times over the years. I mean, a family member of mine done it. Played. You sometimes get an injury, can't you? And then you don't realise this is worse than it is. I'll give you an example. A family member of mine was walking around for God knows about 6 months with a broken hand. Didn't even realise it until they knocked it on something one day, and the pain was so severe. And then they went up to the A&E. Oh, you've had a broken hand. You look like you've broke it for a long time. So it's actually, in all walks of life, it's crazy that you can get these injuries, don't think you've done anything wrong, but then further down the line, you've realised, yeah, it's terrible. It's awful. Kaylee, I'll come on to you. Now, I remember, obviously, when yours occurred, because... Yeah, I was there against Chesham, and I hope you. I think with yours it's a bit different, because I do remember. I hope you don't mind me saying, when it actually happened, I did when Spen come over to you. Steve Spencer, Seaward's brilliant physio, by the way. He came over to you, and we heard you saying, "Oh no, I think you kind of knew."
I knew it was bad.
It was serious. You knew it was bad.
I heard it and I felt it. Like, as soon as I done it, I heard 2 pops, and then the pain was just, I've never felt pain like it. And obviously I think everyone in the stand heard me cry, which was quite embarrassing. And I just remember saying I think Spen calmed me down a bit, because I think I was scared to look down, because it felt like my leg was pointing the other way. And I just remember asking him to tell me if my leg's pointing the other way. And then he told me it's not pointing the other way, so I knew I could look down. And then but I knew it was something bad as soon as I done it, because I heard it and the pain was just it was disgusting. I can't explain it.
If I remember, you and the Chesham player were both going for the same ball, weren't you? And then I
kicked it off the side of the pitch. So I think she was running down the right hand side. I made a recovery run and then won the ball and kicked it off the pitch, and I think something must have just hit my right leg that way, and it felt like my leg went pop pop. That's what it felt like. But it was nothing like, it just happened so easily. That's what's scary. Just wrong place, wrong time, I guess. Yeah, it was, and obviously, I'm sure you both in a way can relate to what I'm about to say. When you ask Spen, is my leg facing the other way, especially with them kind of injuries, the first thing you want to know, is it broken? Because obviously, from what I can gather, the pain is so severe, it feels like you actually have broken it. Yeah, because I wouldn't want to look down.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't look down. If it was broke, I would just be like, I won't look down, because I think I would just panic even more. So I just wanted to know if it was like it, so I could just keep my head. I wouldn't look at it. But yeah, thankfully, at least it weren't pointing the wrong way. It just feels a bit out of line. But
one positive way to look at it,
yeah. I'm glad because sometimes things look.
It's all in the. It's all, I know. If you look down, your legs you immediately think is a lot worse, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's ironic thing is, if it had been broken, it might have been better than.
If you would have healed better. Yeah,
I mean, that's the weird thing about it. But at the time, you probably just think.
Well, at the time,
you're both. There are two different ways of getting the injury, because Abby didn't know really when she did it, and then just found out through a scam. But you knew you'd done something bad. I mean, I don't know if you thought you'd done your ACL, but.
I knew I'd done something bad, and I remember seeing Abby at a game, and she was like walking, and she obviously at that point you didn't have your op, did you?
Yeah.
And I was literally there like with a brace on, couldn't walk, couldn't do anything. I was thinking maybe if they missed something, have I actually got a broken leg? Because I can't, why am I walking of crap myself and she's walking? That's what's crazy about it. There's so many people that do it and there's so many different ways of doing it. And there's people recover certain ways. Like the way I've done my ACL, I've done like an avulsion. So an avulsion is basically where I've done it from the top end. So it's completely pulled away from the top end. And then as that's pinged and snapped, then it's certain particles have got stuck to, like fibers have got stuck to my PCL. And then there was indent fractures and a meniscus tear and a grade 2 patella. Which Abby, you've got the patella grade 2, haven't? No, you've got a grade.
Yeah, I had a fracture on my bone. So there was that's obviously when I had my operation, I wasn't allowed to walk for 6 weeks. As Pete would know, because he had to carry my chair.
I've aided Abby in some of the recovery because I carried a chair on my head across the pitch.
Well done, Pete.
Harold Hill, didn't I? Yeah. Well, I didn't have to carry it on my head, but I just thought it'd be easier. Yeah.
So I had a fracture within the bone, and then they said once they operated, they said that I won't be able to walk for 6 weeks, just to let that fracture heal as well. But like Kaylee was saying, it's everyone that does do their ACL, it's all a bit different, and the way I'm recovering is different to the way Kaylee's recovering as well. Even though she's not had hers completely done, it's that like she's still going through the same thing. And we chat mostly every day, didn't we? And we just say like, oh, how's your leg? Like, is it feeling like this, or do you have this problem? Which is quite nice, I think, is you have someone to sit there that's going through it as well, and that they can and you can relate to things, because I think like people that are not injured don't really fully understand. Like, when you're injured, you can be at a low place, and it's such a roller coaster ride. I've never had a big injury, and this is probably the biggest injury that I've got. And then like mentally, I'm like, how do I deal with it? What do I do? Am I doing all the right things? Will I? Because obviously the surgeon told me that I wouldn't be able to play again, and now I'm thinking, well, I do want to play again, but am I doing everything to make sure I play again? And do you know what I mean? You always question yourself, and am I going to get better? Will I ever be able to put my legs straight again? So you ask so many questions, and with like going through it with someone, I think it just gives you that little boost of confidence to think, all right, Kaylee's having the same problems as what I'm having, so we're not like, you're not totally alone. Because I will say to her, oh, I can't. Yeah, like I can't straighten my leg. What about you? And she'll be like, no, I'm the same. So, there's a bit of like banter as well that we have, don't we?
Yeah.
It always helps. I think Sky's got a similar injury as well, isn't she? So you can be a support for each. Sky's another Seaward player for the record, by the way. And so you can all be a support for each other, which is
100%. I think because mentally, physically, obviously, it's not nice. Like, it's not nice being in pain every day. It's not nice not being able to sleep, especially like because at first you have to kind of sleep on your back, and that's so uncomfortable. I don't know if many of you sleep on your back, but if you do, you're a bit of a psycho. You literally sleep for a couple of hours, then you have to, if you want to move to your side, it's like a full body workout because you can't move. So then you have lack of sleep. So I think mentally is the hardest thing for me, and I'd say for you as well, Abby. Like, it's just because some days you'll feel good, some days you feel bad.
Definitely.
Sometimes you just feel like there's no progression. You just feel like, why can't I bend my leg? Or sometimes like I play football in my sleep, especially at the beginning, and I'd move in my sleep and wake up and cry and scream because I'd be playing football in my sleep, and then I would have accidentally jolted and bent my leg.
Ouch.
So it's not nice.
It isn't. And obviously, I just want to say as well, you mentioned obviously the mental impacts and the impacts they could have on mental health. I just want to make a point as well. If there's anyone watching or listening to this that is obviously on a topical point, struggling with any injury they got, whether it's ACL or whatever, speak out. We're here tonight. Speak out. Speak to someone. Anyone struggling with their mental health in general, just speak to someone. It's okay not to be okay. So just please, it's okay to admit you're struggling. Me and Pete have both been there, haven't we? So yeah,
I pulled my hamstring once. I don't really count that, does it? I was
talking about
yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I'm just trying,
Did you do it? That's what I want to know.
Well, no, I get cramp asleep. So it's like,
yeah.
I don't even have to play sport to get injured anymore. So that's called getting old, unfortunately.
I done my I pulled some ligaments in my knee about 5 years ago. It was just happened. I accidentally I don't know how to explain. I was walking along, and then when you miss your step on the curb, and then literally I went up, and then my knee joint and it twisted. I felt something, so I went to the hospital, got one of them, what do you call it, knee strap things, and it's got a lot better. But in the cold weather, I don't know if you two have noticed it. When the weather gets cold, it always seems to play up a lot more.
Yeah, stiffer as well. Like everything's
it's muscles just don't like the cold anyway, do they? So
yeah. When we had that snow the other week, it was awful.
Yeah, I won't walk in that.
I walk in it when I've got proper able body, let alone have an injury. So I've never touch wood. I've never really had a serious injury. I've had a few bloody noses and stuff, but playing football when I was younger, but not really. I twisted my ankle once playing five-a-side football, but so I was, and that was only for 2 days. I was crawling around my house for 2 days because I couldn't walk. So I can imagine what you must be going through. So I do sympathise for you for sure. I felt when I was with Abby that day, I felt really sorry for you. I just want to carry Abby over there as well and just put her on a chair or something. It was a struggle, but it's I'm sure that's the mental side of it is what a lot of people don't see, because when you're with your team or people, you kind of just put on a brave face. I would suspect it's what I would do anyway. But behind your own doors, when there's nobody there, that's when it all comes out, isn't it? So it's the mental recovery, because obviously the other thing about it is when you do recover from an injury and you go into a tackle again, or you get playing football again, there's always going to be a element of doubt in your head. Or what if it goes again or something? Just the mental side is a huge part of it. And I feel that's what a lot of people don't realise and don't, unless they play or they have an injury like that. Then I'm guessing you only really know, as you said, you only really know what you're going through if you've been through it. I guess it's like losing, it's like a bereavement or something. You don't know unless you've been through it. You don't know how the person's going to feel. So
I'm just going to bring up a point. We have had some communication actually. London Seaward's reserve goalkeeper, she has played a couple of games for the first team as well, Oriana, has messaged to say that she played a game yesterday and that she got injured. It wasn't an ankle sprain, but there is internal bleeding. Hopefully not a fracture, but she's going to get it checked sometime in the next few days.
Oh no!
Yeah, and hopefully you make a speedy recovery, Oriana, because that's not what you want to hear. Not what you want to hear at all. Not. So thoughts are with you.
Go get it checked as soon as possible, though.
Yeah, literally, go and get it checked as soon as possible. I know Oriana lives and stays on the south coast, so there are some good hospitals down there that can deal with that. So, Oriana, if you're watching, we're with you, and go and get it checked out. Obviously, it's not just the likes of Abby and Kaylee and Sky who have had these ACL injuries in recent times. There's been some very, very high profile cases as well. So just to obviously a little stat that we came up earlier. It says here female players are estimated to be around 6 times more likely to sustain ACL injuries. West Ham's Jessica Zhu, Aston Villa's Chantel Boy Halaka, and Tottenham GI Kaya Simon and Ellie Brazil are just some of the other players to be ruled out this season alone through ACL injury. The issue also came to the fore during this summer's Women's Euro, or last summer, I should say, because my mind said in 2022, last summer's Women's Euros here in the UK. Ballon d'Or winner Alexia Putellas missed the tournament after rupturing her ACL just days before Spain's opening game. Myself and Pete will remember that Northern Ireland's Simone McGill picked up the same injury in their opening, in the Green and White Army's opening game of the tournament against Norway. Me and Pete were were there that night at Southampton's St Mary's Stadium for my sins, just days after signing for Aston Villa. And obviously France striker Marie-Antoinette Katoto also limped off in their second group game against Belgium, having also done the same. She'd been one of the favourites to win the Euro 2022 Golden Boot. And obviously, as we know in recent weeks, Arsenal's Vivian Miedema and Beth Mead, who are two of Arsenal women's bestest, most influential players, are ruled out long-term with ACL. So, huge high-profile cases on these. Obviously, just to discuss it, Pete, we'll mention the Simone McGill one because obviously me and you were there at St Mary's for that Northern Ireland game, and we knew it looked bad when she went down, didn't we? Because we knew, because you turned. I remember you turned to me and said she's done something there. She can.
You kind of know when it's serious because you also see the people around them, the way they react and the way they are. You know, when the way the physios and when they get a stretcher. I know you see the stretch come on a lot when someone goes down injured because it's protocol. But when you know the difference between when someone doesn't need the stretcher and then when someone does need the stretcher. And that was, and you just knew that. When that's why I said to you, I don't think that's not looking good. But obviously, I didn't think ACL. But I thought you can just tell, can't you? You need just by the way people react around them as well, and obviously it wasn't. It turned out to be bad news, and it's. I mean, we just reeled off a load of names, and that's only since last summer.
Yeah.
It's mental, and there's so many. I mean, there's so many other cases. Dan Mann, who manages Corinthians ladies, local to me, one of his players done their ACL as well recently. It's just it's becoming as common. It's becoming as common as just like a pulled muscle at the moment, isn't it? Like just a calf muscle or something. And it's
scary. It's so major.
Because ACL is a serious thing, and it's just like it's becoming the norm at the moment. That's not right. It's not right. It can't be right, can it? There must be something. I know there's a lot. I mean, we're going to go on to what some of the causes, because obviously I've had a little look into what scientists have been saying and stuff like that. And but there's got to be. It can't keep happening, can it? Because it's crazy how many are going down with such serious injury.
Yeah, and
as you said, as Abby alluded to, you work hard, you keep yourself fit, you eat all the right stuff. These players that we're talking about as well, they're top athletes. They're at the top of their game, and they're still and they're still getting these injuries. And you say, it's like, what can you do to prevent it? Because they've got top nutritionists and stuff looking after them probably as well. So
they might have only had them not from a young age. So obviously it's only recently really women's football's got better. But
I mean, women's football has been propelled into the limelight after last summer, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think women's football has been so much in the spotlight as it is now. I mean, after the World Cup in Canada a few years ago, I think it got a bit of a kick because England came third. But obviously, after winning the Euros this summer, it's just propelled it into the stratosphere. And so all these things are getting. I mean, the fact they're even getting mentioned now in the main media is in some ways a good thing because it's getting it like in the spotlight, and hopefully that will make people think this isn't right.
Yeah.
Maybe something needs to be done, and more will be done going forward, hopefully to prevent many more injuries like this. But
it is, and attendances, as you say, obviously, as you kind of alluded to, they've gone rocked it up. Seaward's attendances have done pretty well this year. We've, I think, there's been a good 3 or 4 times. I think already. I think we've reached 900 or over. So it is doing well. And I remember another example that I personally remember. I cannot remember whether it was against Swindon or Cambridge or St Ives. It was definitely one of them. I can't remember which one. I don't know if you two were actually there. There was a player for whoever it was. She went down quite late on in the game, and we all had to get stretcher out and everything. I can't remember if that was. They thought it might be ACL, but she was down for a good 10 minutes at least. I can't remember what team it was now, but yeah, it didn't look good.
Yeah, I don't think I was there at that one.
No, I didn't see that either.
I can't. It was. I can't remember because all I remember was that she was down, and then Dan, James, and Spen. Well, Spen was helping, and Dan and James. I think it might have been St Ives because Dan and James were running around trying to get the stretcher and brought it out for her. But yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. And yeah, but those are Abby and Kaylee, get your views on this. I mean, we just mentioned the high-profile cases there. I mean, what's your thoughts on some of those high-profile ones?
Go on, Abs, you first.
It's stitching me up here.
Call yourself team, mates.
It's alphabetical order. I'm just being polite.
No, obviously, like you said, looking at the form like Beth Mead was on, and then now she was she's got trophies coming out left, right, and centre, but now it's like her career is just all come crashing down on her, and I think that's the way it does feel. Obviously that felt for me as well. When I got told I couldn't play anymore, I just thought, well, that was the end. It all come crashing down, and for them, obviously that's their full-time job, isn't it? So it must even be probably even harder for them to try and, live their life and try and recover from their injury. Then, obviously we go to work, don't we? So we have to play football, go to work, and earn our money. And where I've done mine as well, and I'm self-employed, I won't be getting paid, and I don't get paid, And for them, obviously, if they, I don't know how it works for them, but if they go in and, work with their physios and stuff, they probably still get paid, So I do think that's it benefits them more than obviously us, but it is quite sad to see. And once now, like we were saying earlier, now I've done it myself, now you tend to see loads more people do it. And I thought, it was only going to be a few people that have done it throughout the game and that. And like you say, not until you do it yourself and you there's so many more people out there that have done it.
Yeah. It's complete and utter madness. Kaylee, your thoughts?
I think yous have said already, they're obviously at the highest standard, so it's just scary that it still happened. But I think to myself, maybe it's happened because when they were growing up, they might have not had those things in place like strength and conditioning and prevention. But hopefully now it's getting bigger. I think the main thing is just us getting sort of injury prevention programs in place at all levels. But yeah, I think it just scared me. And I watched a video of Beth Meads and I was like, oh, I don't know why I watched it. I didn't think it was going to show it. And it did. And I was like, why did I watch that? But like Abby said, I didn't know how bad the injury was. I knew women were more susceptible to knee injuries, but I should have really known, or I wish I would have sort of known how bad they were. And more on how to prevent it. because as much as we could have been doing certain things, Abby, that might have actually been pointless to us, we could have actually been maybe making it worse. I know when I'd done mine, I was like a day late for my period as well, so I know that heightens it. Abby, you were the same, weren't you on or something?
Yeah.
I think
I was, to be fair.
That's a very interesting
when you work it out, obviously, obviously your dates, the when you're doing, you don't, and obviously that is a big factor in it, isn't it? I just wish I'd educated myself more on it, and because maybe I was not doing the right things, maybe I could have been doing stuff, but it might actually not have been helping me. And yet then always I question myself, like, or especially like maybe my fault then it happened because I maybe weren't doing the right things, or I should have done this, I should have done that. And your head spirals thinking, oh, what if I would have just done that? What if I just, but you can't think like that for too long because that's not healthy. You've got to just try and think about what I can do now. And when I do get back to playing football, touch wood, I want to get myself in better condition than I've ever been in my life. That's kind of, and promote awareness to hopefully prevent anyone else going through it. That's fine.
Hopefully that's what we're gonna try and do tonight through this this program. You made a valid point there about, obviously it happened, obviously Katie said you were a day late, and Abby said you were on at the time. Essex County FA have announced that they're going to be doing an upcoming webinar called Supporting Players Through Their Periods on the 9th of February from 7:30 to 9 p.m. So I hope, obviously the title suggests what they're going to be talking about, but hopefully they'll bring the ACL stuff into it as well. So hopefully that will be good for players. Do you two think that maybe because of these high profile cases and the amount of times it's happening, do you think it could affect participation? It could put women and girls off from playing because they might panic and think, oh God, one wrong turn or something, or if I fall the wrong way, or if I don't fall correctly, then or something. You know what I'm saying? Could they be worried about it?
Yeah, I think obviously, like when I done mine, I obviously, you go to the doctor, which is Google, and then you write in all these questions that you've got about your ACL, and like, oh, what does Google tell you? And I think it's like,
never do that.
Worst case scenario, most of the time.
Have you done your ACL? And they'll try and say you're about to die in 10 minutes. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was something I was reading about. I don't know if it's like whether when girls get to the age of 16 and they start going like through having their periods and stuff like that, most girls tend to drop out of sport because of obviously that reason, and obviously getting older and stuff like that. And like you're saying, like people will, if you don't know the facts about it, then I think obviously that's why people will drop out.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, it can happen at school age as well. Yeah. It can happen at school age. I'll be honest. My little, she can get very, very worried about playing football in a mixed gender, like in a mixed gender class, because she's one of the first to go through that sort of thing. That she's worried she's going to get taken the mickey out of and things like that. So if a lot of what you say there, Abby, kind of backs that up in a way. It does. Yeah. It's not nice. So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about the causes of this now. So I'm going to hand over to Pete for this section for what the causes are.
It kind of leads me nicely into this section, because now you brought up the menstrual cycle and whatever it's called. That is pretty big, large part of the cause, and one of many. I got a lot of this stuff from like some websites. I had to go onto websites and find out a bit about it, because obviously I wasn't that I don't know a lot about it. I'll be honest. That's that's
we
obvious.
have done our research. So I've watched the Emma Hayes documentary this week. So yeah.
Now it's I mean, one of the things that came up was there seemed to be, and it's all generalisations. It doesn't mean each club's the same, but great, like for example, greater resources are available to men on the whole. And it makes a difference in safeguarding players. For example, access to nutrition, sports science, recovery tools, members of staff per play, and they're totally different to how it is for women. And obviously because of that, bodies will feel the weight of it, and additional strain it puts on the body is quite significant. Also, women have smaller ACLs and a smaller femoral notch of where ACL goes into, and generally have a bit more laxity in the joints, especially when they're in their cycle. Within the monthly cycle, as I said, as estrogen levels go up and down throughout the cycle. I'm not sure if anyone actually understands what I'm talking about, but this is what I'm trying to just trying to go through this. And women generally have a bigger imbalance between quads and hamstring ratios. Hamstring strength is important because ACL stops shin going forwards and rotates, and the hamstring pulls it back a bit where the hamstring attaches. And this was an interesting fact as well. Women also generally land flat-footed, which I found quite interesting. The shock, in the case the shock and impact go up through the knee, so maybe another reason they could be more likely to injure it. And also, women's feet differ from men. This was now I actually read this a while ago about football boots that women wear, because I'll get your two opinions on this after I've read this last bit. But women's feet differ from men's, obviously in shape and volume. As said, there's a risk of injury from ill-fitting boots, which can squeeze the foot in unwanted places. And we'll come on. I mean, this next part will also be included in what could be done to solve issues. Many of the major manufacturers are developing women's specific boots, which should be available for the Women's World Cup this year. But a lack of available football boots is a general concern. I'll put it to you two. What do you? Does that make sense to you? I mean, I was looking at this earlier, trying to think. You know, you shouldn't really compare men to women, and I try not to do this. But when it comes to bodies and body shapes and the cycle and that, obviously the men don't suffer from that. But
we are different. You know, like we're built different. We've got I've always been told we've got like a wider pelvis, so that I mean like our knees are different. Like our quads to be more dominant than our glutes and our hamstring. So for us, we would have to mostly work extra hard on protecting everything around the knee a lot more. So that's just the way our bodies are. So we are going to be, and then if we ain't got specific training to work on our not weaknesses, but the way we're different, then we're going to be even more susceptible to them.
Yeah.
So
can I just obviously I've read all this already. The question I was asking myself, and I think it's ludicrous. If you can have men's and women's shoes, men's and women's slippers, all different types of footwear for men and women, why don't they still have men's and women's football boots? I think it's absolutely ludicrous. If you can,
it's really annoying. No, I remember growing up as a kid, I'd always want like certain boots, and because I was only like a size 4.5, they'd never have the boots I want in my size. So like when I was a kid growing up, there was never them boots, or you'd have you have to wear kids' boots. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't know if you.
Well, it's all about the colours, isn't it? Like as well. Like let's be honest, because they obviously when me and Katie used to play football, we had to wear boys' shoes and boys' football boots, and you know, and you've always like been brought up like, oh, them colours look nice, or the bright yellow ones, the bright orange ones. You think, oh,
Yeah.
I'd stand that, you know, and
I think I
that's
spray
what you
painted
tend to
mine
go
once.
for.
I think I spray painted a pair of my boots. I must have got bored. I
Well,
used to do like all sorts of stuff as a kid. I think my mum wanted to kill me, but yeah. I used to like the R9s. Do you remember the Ronaldo R9s? Like I used to love them. Oh, I used to just, they were my like favourite boots, and then the Predators and that.
I bet you £1 million, and I was one of these people. I didn't know that you had to wear men's football boots, because I just assumed they'd make boots for women as well. I was staggered when I found this out. And I bet there's a lot of people that don't even know this.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. I can't fathom it. I really can't.
lend us a tenner out that £1 million, will you?
Well, yeah, I mean, all right, yeah. £1 million.
I'm joking.
There is I think I sent it to you, Kaylee, that there is a company out in America that solely sell women's football boots. And they're obviously it's molded to a women's foot. You know, and obviously, like, if you go on the website, and it will tell you the description and obviously how they're made, and it fits around the arch of our arch of our foot is different to a man's. So obviously it's capable around the arch. It fits around the heel, around the top of your toes, and things like that. But yeah, like, obviously it's all happening out in America, but I think we need to come over here now,
aren't they?
I mean, women's football is huge in America, isn't it?
Yeah.
And for some of it used to be bigger than the men's at one point. I think the women were actually more successful than the men for quite a time out there. That's
same with England at the moment.
Well, we won't talk about that, but yeah. No, and you're right though. It's good. I mean, it's great. It's just I was staggered. I was also. I mean, did you? Especially don't really think about it. Women they tend to also generally land flat-footed. I found that quite intriguing, to be honest. I mean, I suppose you never really think about it when you're playing, do you? Because you just sort of play. You don't think about where you're landing and.
No, why the manager says get on your toes all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Is what I mean. Yeah.
I can't help it. I'm a woman. I'm flat-footed.
Yeah, you can tell them that now.
It's my mechanics.
Oh, yeah. I remember, it's funny with the boots situation, because I tried to get back into football last year or the year before for my sins, and I was playing on Astro, and I bought some boots, but they were just slightly too small, but I squeezed into them anyway, and I'd done my quad after 2 minutes, and I'm wondering, maybe it's because I didn't have the right boots on. I don't know. You know, it could be something to do with that, because it puts a strain. Because you then, but I carried on playing for the rest of the game. I just muddled through it, because I thought I've waited so long to do this, so I'm just going to carry on anyway. I was running around limping around for about an hour or whatever we play for. But yeah, it's a valid point, and it's just hopefully if manufacturers are going to start developing women's boots, then maybe that might be one way of preventing the injury. I don't know, but there's so many different factors to it, though, isn't there? It's like, and sometimes you'll get an injury regardless of how fit you are. Unfortunately, it's just part of, and you say it's just part and parcel of football, but it's just a worry how many of these major injuries are occurring in such a short space of time. So.
Is very alarming. Another message, Gav has actually got in touch. He said he's listening on the wireless by the fire.
Lovely.
Yeah, Kay and Abby will be back, he said.
Yeah, they'll be back.
They will be back.
Don't listen to the doctors. You'll be back. You'll be fine. You always just get a second opinion, and if they'd say just get another opinion, just keep getting an opinion until they say you will.
Just go to every single doctor in the country until they say, you can play. I'm
sure that it's funny, because I was watching because I watch a lot of cricket on Sky when I'm at home, because I work at home a lot. And there's a player called Glenn Maxwell who plays for Australia, and he had a bad injury a few months. I can't remember how long ago it was now. And he said, and I was when you were talking about when you first, do you ever think your legs are going to get back into the right shape again? He said he went through the same thing when he first did it, and it was very mentally tough for him. And he thought, am I ever going to be able to walk again, and all this sort of thing? But he's back. But now he's what, a few months later or a few weeks later, a month or two, he hit a ball and bowled for the first time yesterday, and he's still got a long way to go. But when you were talking about it just then, I was thinking about when he was doing his interview, and I'm thinking, yeah, it's the same similar. So you've just got to get through that initial recovery period, and then you do get those tough days, and I'm sure eventually it will recover. The body's an incredible thing, and the fact that you're both fit young athletes. I mean, compared to me and Adam, anyway. I'm joking. But you've got age on your side, and you do a lot of fitness and stuff. So you have that on your side, and your body will recover better because of it.
Yeah.
In the long run, so that's got to be an advantage, surely. But we'll keep you going. Don't worry. Somehow.
Definitely.
It's your recovery.
Before we go to a break, I must also mention, following the mention of the cricket there and the cricketer, I'd like to thank Martin Brazier for watching the show for 50 minutes.
Yeah. The minute I mention the word cricket, Martin will disappear. So
ironically, we are on the figure count. Yeah, we yeah, it went, but oh well. Okay, well, we're going to take a break. We'll be back in a few minutes' time. For our radio listeners, we do have a song coming up, and for our TV viewers, YouTube viewers, whatever you call us, yeah. So we'll back. We'll be here chatting and back here.
We'll still be here. Yeah.
We'll still be here. Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah. All right. Whatever. Let's get that out of the way for a minute. Where's Pete gone?
I'm still here.
There you are. I don't know what happened there.
I've not magically made myself
disappear.
Yeah,
you literally just disappear, then you come back.
Yes. I'm a magician without even knowing it. Clearly,
I know you. Yeah, I know you. I know you are. So yeah.
But
yeah. So quickly for our YouTube viewers, Abby and Kaylee. So tell us about your careers pre-Seaward.
Go on, Abs.
What we've been doing?
No, I'll talk about obviously the way you've been, because I know you've been at Millwall and places like that.
Oh right, yeah. So obviously, my first ever team was Barking Ladies, first team, when I was around, and then because of the funding and stuff like we're saying in women's football, the team had to fold because we couldn't fund it anymore, and obviously, not being rude, but the men took all the money, and it was all for themselves. So yeah, so I played there. Then I left there, and then I went and played for Eastern Avenue, which is like Essex County football, just to play for fun and like play with my mates. And then I went to Harlow Town Ladies, played there for like 3 years or so. I left there, went to Millwall, played there for a season and a half, and then joined London Seaward from there.
Yes. Kaylee, yourself?
I've started with Leighton Orient, and then they done like a Centre of Excellence. So I went to Leighton Orient Centre of Excellence, played there, and then when I left school, I went to Fulham Academy. So it's like where you done your college and football every day, which was like the best ever, because it's like the most sort of professional I felt, because I got to play football every day. And then Fulham changed to Chelsea the year after, so it's Chelsea Academy.
Wow.
And then where did I go after that? Then I went to Fulham Women, West. I think I went to West Ham. Then I went to West Ham, Millwall. And then I had a bit of time out after Millwall just to focus on like work and stuff, just like career wise. and then I started playing football again and was at West Ham, then Basildon, and then in Orient again in Seawold. So.
Welcome back to GFS. Yes, the girls were just explaining about their careers. If you saw that on YouTube, which I imagine most of you did. So yeah, welcome back. We got more to talk. I'll go back to the ACL discussion shortly. We're just going to talk about one or two other things. It's me, Adam, along with Pete, and our guest star London Seawards, Abidel, and Kaylee Exodus. Just to let people know who might be listening and watching, it's the West London Derby is just about to kick off at the moment. In a moment, Fulham versus Chelsea. So we'll keep you up to date with that. Was on BT Sport, Pete, if you want to stick that on in the background.
Yeah, I'll put it on the background. I do concentrate on the show as well, but
Yeah, so I know sometimes we like to have a bit of football on in the background. We're going to do shout outs. We normally do at this point in the program. I'm going to go first because the specific shout I want to do. I want to shout out a special mention to London Seawards' very own Zamina Malik, who set up the winning goal for Pakistan in their game yesterday. And it's made, obviously, national headlines as well. And we're very, very proud of Z and her international call-up. So well done, Z. We're very, very proud of you, girl. She's done brilliantly, isn't she?
Yeah. Go on, Z.
Yeah, done really well.
That's impressive. Yeah, really impressive.
Yeah. Well
internationals,
done,
internationals playing at sea, were they? Right.
Yes. Definitely, yes. So really proud of you. Okay, so Pete, we'll let you. Who you want to shout out to?
As a subject we're on, I'd like to shout out to all the women that are suffering from ACLs, including obviously our guests as well. And just because obviously it's always tough when you're not able to do the thing you love doing. So big shout out to all those suffering from that injury or any injuries really, and that they are currently suffering, and if you want support, or mental support or any support, then just get in contact with someone or your teammates or something. That's the most important thing, is keeping yourself mentally stable as well as physically. So also a shout out to all our listeners, all two of them after I mentioned cricket. Thanks for the continued support, because this is our 8th season doing this show, and definitely could not do it without people listening, because it's what makes it worth it at the end of the day. So
definitely. We're transitioning to YouTube. There's more audio listeners at the moment, but we're getting there.
Coming up.
Yeah. We're getting there. Abby, any shouts for you?
Just shout out all the girls, Dan, James, Gabby, and the London Seawards, Spen, and all them for looking after us, even though we can't play.
Legends.
And then all the staff at Harold Hill and that.
Up the Billy Cove as well.
Yes.
Up the Billy Cove Army.
And George Young, by the way.
Oh yeah, and George. Oh yeah.
We should send Ian, our producer, along to watch him, because he lives in Harold Hill. Yeah? No, that's Harold Wood you live in, isn't it?
Yeah, no, don't mention Harold Wood. Oh, blimey.
Yeah. Ian, help us out here. Oh, he's not there. Okay.
Yeah. He's got to sleep.
He's got to sleep, yeah. We're probably boring him, yeah. Yes, anyone else, Abs?
No, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, shout out to Billy as well. Kaylee, any for you?
Yeah, same. Just everyone at London Seawold. Thanks for all your support, really. And hopefully I'll see him soon when I can start driving again. I'll come down and support. So
just got to walk first.
Don't try driving first. Oh no, be quiet.
We love a bit of humour and banter on this program.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
She's asked you when you come off the show.
Yeah, you'll be laughing your heads off when you come off the show. It does happen. Ian, if you come back here, do you want to do any shout-outs?
I'm here.
Yeah. Well, we asked you about Harold Hill just now, and you didn't answer.
I was there. Never mind. Shout out to Harold Wood FC. Then I should do.
Oh, Harold Hill's big rivals.
Yeah.
Is there a kick out button here?
Unfortunately, if we kick him out, that's the show's done.
Yeah, we're finished. Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully they won't be underwater all season.
Well, yeah, this is true. Yeah.
But yeah, just shout out to all ELR listeners and fans, and thanks guys for keeping it going for another year.
Woohoo!
Yeah, all good stuff. And Martin and his curtains, of course.
Oh, of course, we're missing the curtains. Yeah, obviously tonight. Yeah, we are. Yes. So yeah, we'll let's have a Chelsea nearly scored. Chelsea nearly scored there. Good save by the Fulham goalkeeper. So right, we're gonna have obviously have a quick chat now about Seawood in general. It's been Abby and Kaylee. I think. Do you know what? It's been really good, strong start to the season. I know we haven't played in the league for a good couple of months, and in general for over a month, but we have had a really, really good, strong start to the season. Despite obviously obstacles such as losing important players like Kaylee and Sky, and obviously the weather that we've had to put up with, but it's been fantastic, a fantastic start to the season.
Yeah, 100%. I think we'll keep growing them, and we're still like a new team as well. So I think time will only make us stronger. So yeah, nice, good. It's positive.
Definitely. Abby, your thoughts? Because I know you have been down to a few games, haven't you? So
yeah, no, it's I still think we've got that little bit in us. There's something we're still not giving. I think that's we're saving the best till last. If you get my drift, there's still something we're gonna shine up.
Only 3 points off second place Norwich.
Yeah,
it's a very tight division.
They're doing really well. They're doing really well, and credit to the girls and that.
And the issue is as well with that is because obviously Wyndham actually resigned about a month or so ago. So everyone who got points against Wyndham, including us, have lost them. So that's why it looks a lot tighter now than it did a few weeks back. So
very tight though.
Very tight.
Apart from hashtag, we were 9 points clear at the top. The rest of the tables, I mean, second to eighth, well, was only 5 points. And Seawood are in sixth on goal difference, and they're only 3 points off Norwich in second. So
yeah.
Good, decent start.
I honestly think that, and I hopefully you two will agree with me that on our day, the squad is as good as anyone in that league, as the results and the performances have shown. I mean, I'd say the only off night we had was probably Wimbledon, but we went toe-to-toe with Norwich, should have beaten them, really. Hashtag wasn't a 4-1 game.
Yeah, we've done well, hashtag. I thought we had it with hashtag. I thought we was going to maybe draw, but then...
But I think we got a bit stitched up, didn't we? When one of their goals shouldn't have stood, and then we were denied 2 penalties. So, we were a little bit... I will come out and say it. My personal opinion, we were a bit stitched up in that game. And obviously, if those decisions go your way, it could be a different game. But yeah, as I say, the results and performances have shown that on our day we can start up there with the best, and they've shown that. And it's a great group of girls as well. It's a great group, and they should all be so proud of themselves. Obviously, still got them fighting in 2 cups. Obviously, the London Cup or Capital Cup or whatever it's called this week, and the CCL Combined Counties Cup. So chances of silverware, and in a good position, I think, to push. Like Pete said, we're only 3 points off second. There's no reason why we can't finish second. Maybe even push higher.
Yeah,
I don't think there's no reason why we can't. I think the world's our oyster, really.
Yeah, 100%.
And your next game's against Norwich as well.
Well, we've got Haringey at the weekend in the London Cup, if it's on.
I mean, sorry, I meant league.
In the league.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's a side that's, apart from Wimbledon, that's I've looked and thought they're decent. I'd say, you said hashtag with 9 points clear at the top. As Kaylee said there, I thought we had against Ashton. They didn't, in my opinion, they didn't impress me. Norwich didn't. So I think we're as good as anyone on our day.
It's all about consistency, though, isn't it?
Yeah. If we can replicate that start of the season, or wouldn't say start of the season, keep up that form that we've been doing, I think we'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
We will do well. Hounslow down the bottom though there, but you know what? Considering all they've been through, they might have had a minus 100 goal difference after 9 games. They might have lost 16-0 to Hashtag, but all you can do in those situations, just turn up, and fair play to them for keeping going, because it'll be so easy to just walk away from situations like that, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I think
Definitely.
I think at the end of the day, they're getting beat every week. But as I said before, off air before the start of the show, just some people just want to play football. They just want to enjoy playing football. So I'm not enjoyment maybe not so much for getting beaten like that every week, but at the same time, it's football. I know for me, and I'm sure it is for everyone else, that it's a social thing as well. You get to see your mates every week. You get to enjoy time with them every weekend when you play football. Especially after COVID and all that, when we couldn't do anything, it's just nice for people to get out and enjoy yourselves and keep fit and just play football or play whatever you do at a weekend. I think it's more a social event as well as playing sport, which I think is very important for people to keep their mindset clear as well. So
very true.
Certainly works that way too.
Very
I just want to
true.
ask you a question. At the start of the season, did your side lay out any plans for what you wanted to achieve this season? And are you meeting those? Are you hitting those achievements or those targets so far? Anybody?
I'll let Kaylee answer that because I don't get involved with them.
No. Well, it was a question for them too, anyway. Yeah. So.
Yeah. We had a meeting. We had in pre-season, we had a meeting, and we had to go around in all different groups and just set our target. There was all different sort of targets, but obviously there were certain people that said obviously we want to win the league. So we kind of want to go in as high as you want to go. Then some people might have a different opinion and say, right, we want to go top 3. So obviously we've got a 3-year plan as well in place. So we just want to keep striving forward and win the league and get promoted. And I think, the direction we're heading, I think we can achieve it, and we are on the way to do that, especially for a new club and really quite a new team. I just think, like what Abby said, there's a little bit more, but I think that's just time, because you need your team to gel. I think players play better when they know each other, like on and off the pitch. If you know and trust your players, you'll only get better and better. And I think that's just what we need, just a bit more time. Because that'll bring a bit more consistency, a bit more confidence, self-belief, and we'll get there.
The girls have a great bond on and off the pitch as well, because obviously you do social events as well, and it's really, really, it's good to have that team spirit as well. It really, really is. So we'll go on to quickly chat about a couple of games that have, before we go back onto the ACL discussion. It was the Women's FA Cup, a 3rd round at the weekend, and our divisional rivals, AFC Wimbledon, they beat Gillingham from the division above by 1-0 with Eleanor Dory's 66th minute strike to knock out Southern Premier Division Gills. That match was actually played at Palau Lane. Now, I mentioned Wimbledon just there, and I'm not surprised, because although we had an off night when we played them, they showed what they can do as well. So I'm not very shocked about that result. And Pete, sorry to say this, sorry to do this to you, but your girls Norwich fell to a narrow loss at Burnley at the Lancashire County Ground thanks to Minnie Ravening's first half strike. Okay, fair play for them going all that way to keep it to 1-0, but it's a shame really. What's the 3 of your thoughts on those two?
Who's going first? Ladies first. Go on. I'll go last. Sorry.
Don't really know, to be honest. Don't really know.
Fair enough. That's
I
all
just
right.
think we're not in it. Oh, we should be in it. I don't know what else to say.
I'll be honest. We played well
right.
against Ipswich when we got knocked out. We done well. It was a good performance.
Oh, of all the teams to knock you out, Ipswich.
Oh yeah, you're not an Ipswich lover, are you?
Not really, but
Being a Norwich fan, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah.
Can you not shout that on air, please?
Yes. But Wimbledon host Championship high flyers Charlton in the fourth round at the end of January. So a bit of a South London derby, that one, and that will be interesting.
That's going to be a notch up from Gillingham for sure.
Definitely.
Charlton are third in the Championship, so yeah, that'd be a tough one. But it'd be a good test for them, wouldn't it? So
it will be. It will be. Just obviously, we'll quickly go on to the men's FA Cup as well. We obviously like to mention the non-league sides and the big shocks. Obviously, Wrexham beat Coventry by 4-3. With Dolby and Lee had visitors 2 up in 20 minutes. Sheaf pulled one back. Visiting goals had O'Connor and Mullin had Wrexham 4-1 up against the Championship side, who've been doing well as well. Coventry, they've been in form in the Championship.
Crazy,
Does obviously they eventually hold on from a comeback to cause the almightiest of upsets, 3 divisions apart. But then again, does this surprise you as well? Because of a lot of people have seen this Wrexham documentary. We know they're heavily backed by Hollywood owners. So is it any surprise really that they've gone and put that kind of performance up against a good Championship side?
It's not a surprise, but it's not a surprise that they competed. But to go 4-1 up away from home against the Championship opposition, quite something. I mean, you know, they've been in competitive games in their own division. So to beat someone away 4-3, 3 levels above, and to be, Wrexham are not your typical non-league club. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously they're well backed by Hollywood owners, but still, that's an outrageous shock. That's a big shock. Even so, so we just get Coventry are a good side, a really good side, a good side, and that's a second tier of English football that they just put out. So yeah, very and Coventry's history in the FA Cup as well, and and also they used to be Premier League and whatnot. So it's a big shock, right? Yeah, it still is, even though it's Wrexham. So,
Coventry have got a habit of losing to non-league clubs, haven't they?
Well, they got knocked out by Sutton, didn't they? Sutton United in 1989.
Yeah,
when
Worcester City beat them as well.
Oh, really? Yeah. Yeah, I'd just like to mention that Norwich beat Sutton 8-0 in the next round, but that's got nothing to do with it. So carry on.
But then you in the Premier League when Luton knocked you out.
Yeah, right. Should we go in the next game now?
Yeah, I was going to say that actually.
Yeah.
Chesterfield 3, West Brom 3. West Brom managed to get a 93rd minute leveller. Now, personally, I don't think that should have stood because Sante shouldn't have been on the pitch, and he's been subsequently banned from the elbow. But yeah, it's not. I'm gutted for Chesterfield, really. Gutted for them.
But they've got another chance. They've got another bite at the cherry, haven't they? They've got a tie at the Hawthorns, and that's more money for the coffers. So it's all good for them. So.
Yes, definitely. One of the big shocks, probably the shock of the weekend, I would say. Villa 1, Stevenage 2. Villa led through a Sanson 3rd minute goal, but had then Donker sent off with 5 minutes to go, and the League Two side then turned it around thanks to an 88th minute penalty from Reed and a brilliant finish, by the way, 90th minute winner through Dean Campbell. I mean, what a shock! I mean, no one saw that coming with 5 minutes to go, did they?
It's the FA Cup, though, isn't it? It makes me laugh when these Premier League teams put out weakened sides. It's the FA Cup. It's supposed to be like, it's just not. These big sides just don't treat it seriously anymore. It just annoys me. It winds me up.
Definitely.
So when I see these League Two and League One sides knocking them out, it does make me. I just sort of sit there and smile. I think, well, that serves you right, really, doesn't it? But the FA Cup doesn't. It's just not for the top teams now. It's just not a. I go on about this a lot, and it probably bores people to death. But I love the FA Cup and everything that comes with it, and it means so much for these smaller teams, and a lot of people don't even realise the FA Cup starts in August. So, it means everything. The money that comes with it means everything for these sides, and then these teams just sort of don't really care about it. So, a great win for Stevenage. They're doing really well at the top towards the top of League Two as well. So
yeah, they are.
That's a great win for them. Fair play.
What did you girls think, Abby and Kaylee? Massive shocker there.
Yeah, like people saying, it's mostly like these lower league teams now that are all like shining through and want to get to the best and play at Wembley.
Definitely.
And obviously it's something different as well. It's not the normal Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? It's not just them top teams all the time. Now you're seeing like Wrexham and, like you're saying, Stevenage, and just doing what they want to do. And it's just nice to see not always Kevin De Bruyne all the time.
Exactly. I mean, look at Man City last night, and if you look at the semi-final draw for the League Cup, I mean, it's not who you'd normally expect. You've got Man United, Nottingham Forest, Newcastle, and I hate to say it, Southampton, although they did deserve that win. Yeah. So
from that side of it, yeah, you got a point. You do get others. You do get different sides getting through, and it makes it a bit more interesting. Mixes it up a bit. I get it from that point of view. Yeah, definitely. But
the FA probably don't, because they want the big teams in the finals, don't they? Probably. Yeah.
I'm not talking about the FA. It's probably best not to.
Yes. Sheffield Wednesday beat Newcastle 2-1. Windass double in first 20 minutes of second half. Enough for Wednesday to stun 2. That was a shock because how well Newcastle have done. But then Sheffield Wednesday are second in League One, and they've got better as the season's gone on. So definitely. And one other game that I was at, Tottenham 1, Portsmouth 0. Harry Kane struck a long-range worldie, I have to say, at 5 minutes after the break to see off Pompey. I thought Spurs were pretty bang average. I'm not going to lie. Spurs were average. We made them look average. The atmosphere from their end was absolutely dreadful. And I don't think a draw would... A draw and a repeat's laughing because he knows how much it means to me, but a draw and a replay would not have been unfair, to be honest, because... Yeah. And to put in a performance that 5 days after the sacking the manager, we done well. We were unlucky, but Tottenham did not convince me at all.
You don't like Spurs very much, do you?
No, I don't. I'm going to put it out there.
I'm sort of laughing. It's like, oh, that's funny. I mean, at the end of the day, Spurs won the game. Doesn't matter how they played. Anyway.
I know, like Martin keeps reminding me, we're into the next round, but you should be embarrassed about...
No, to be fair, though, I mean, it was a good performance by all boys. I'll give you that. I watched some of it in the bar at Billy Ricky. So,
we had a good chance as well.
I think you need to concentrate on your league form, as I say. No.
Well, we need to get a manager in, and if I've heard rightly, Liam Manning from MK Dons, or who was at MK Dons. I'm not too convinced about it. We need to get a manager, and we need to sort ourselves out because there's only one way we're heading at the moment. Yeah. Back to League Two. Honestly, it's getting that bad at the moment. But yeah. Anyway.
Anyway, after that.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go on to the obviously just quickly as well. One FA Vars game this weekend. Big one for Romford, Pete. They are at Jersey. Going out tomorrow from Heathrow, apparently.
Are they? Yeah, no, that'd be a good trip for them. Obviously, Jersey knocked out Athletic Newham in the last round. We're also from the Essex Senior League, but yeah, Romford, that'd be good. Romford, I think, will have got every chance of getting something there, but Jersey are a good side. So, but I think they'll give it a good go, and hopefully they can get the job done. But we'll see.
Yes, so hopefully they will do well. So obviously, Katie and Abby, you love your football. Who do you tell us all who you both support and why?
Apart from London Seawood.
Apart from London Seawood, of course, yeah.
I don't know if I should say this. I might get kicked out. I support Chelsea.
Okay.
Nothing wrong with that. Good old Chelsea. Yeah.
But I think we need a new manager, to be fair. He's not doing
you're not a
jobs,
Potter fan then? Oh, okay.
No, he's not doing the best of jobs, is he?
He's only been there like 4 months.
That's another story, Pete.
Should we do a sideshow? The Potter show. So I go.
I think Harry Potter could probably do a better job at the moment.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Let's be honest. Yeah. Kaylee, you're
West Ham. I am.
See another team that's not doing well with a manager that's under pressure.
Yeah, I'm used to being up and down. I'm a West Ham fan. I'm all right. So, yeah, West Ham.
Honestly, there'll be a lot of people who support other teams will snap your hand off to be in the position you're in at the moment. Trust me.
It's weird that we all support teams that are really struggling. West Ham, Chelsea, Portsmouth, Norwich. I mean, but David Wagner, Pete, I'm impressed with that appointment. That is a good one.
Yeah, I know. We'll see how it goes. Fulham just hit the bar, by the way.
Yeah, I'm probably about a minute behind, but there you go.
Oh well, sorry. But yeah, no, yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and talk about my club. It's not a time or place to do it. Is
yes.
it?
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, now let's go back then. Obviously, to the reason why we're here. The discussion, obviously, for the ACL. So, what Abby and Katie, what do you think can be done to help? I'll come up with this the stats in the article in a minute. But in your opinion, what do you think needs to be done to help girls in your position and other positions?
I'd just say, like, obviously the research, and obviously I know everyone says it all the time, like obviously research, but I think there needs to be an answer. Like, an answer has to be found sooner or later, because how many people are gonna stop playing football and then because they just don't want one injury, and like obviously men's football, as we know, they get paid a lot and the funding and then whatever else there's a lot go into it, but I feel like it needs to be shared now with the women's game, because that's coming on so much now. It should, like, obviously women should get the funding that the men get anyway, and then if that's that, then we can make the research more and obviously try and find an answer for us people that obviously are struggling with the ACL injuries.
Okay, yeah. We have actually a message here, actually, Kate, before I come on to you, from SS Videos. Hello, SS Videos. Fulham have just scored, by the way. Willian, of all people. Yeah.
Great.
He did just
Kaylee's... Yes. There needs to be more awareness of how this injury happens when we talk about women. Coach awareness, player awareness, body shape and biomechanics is a factor increasing injury risk, wider hips, kind of what you mentioned earlier, Kaylee, phases of the menstrual cycle and ill-fitting kit, playing surfaces, they reckon as well, also increase the risk alongside women wearing men's boots. And SS Videos, I completely agree with that, because like I said earlier, if you can have every single other type of footwear for men and women, why can't you have football boots? It just does not make sense.
I can't get my head around that. I can't. I'm like, it's just...
And it's different in other sports. Look, they probably have it for tennis. They probably have it even for rugby, probably as well. It's just...
I don't know. I mean, just... It's funny how football just seems to not follow the trend other sports do. With certain things, but it's gonna have to change. It will change. I think now that it's been highlighted more and more in the mainstream media. It's got as it says, as I said earlier, that some major manufacturers are going to start producing them. Although I don't know how many they'll produce or how easily to get hold of, but You know, you want the day where they're all available in the sports shops, like trainers are, and like, you know,
and affordable as well.
Affordable, exactly.
It's a working class sport, so you've got to think if there's young girls and families out there, it needs to be affordable and accessible. So is it going to be in like Sports Direct, or is it only going to be you have to order them from America,
specially made and stuff? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of money because obviously you've got to pay for all the customs fees and all kinds of things to get them over from there. So that's not really it's not a viable option in the long run, is it? So should really be available in the mainstream, definitely.
So SS Videos actually bought another point there with the playing surfaces. Do you two think that the surface has got anything to do with it? Because there's a lot more call for 3G pitches these days. Some grass pitches aren't great as we know. So your thoughts on that point?
I think so. Yeah, I think as well, like not like having consistency. So like we might train on 3G, then play on 4G, and then on a Sunday, the next Sunday, play on a really long grass pitch. Then it's a pitch with no grass, and I don't think that ain't going to be great for you, I don't think. And all of that and all the factors put together, that's just going to heighten the risk. All of that, and then not having the specific training to prevent these injuries, wrong boots, then it's no wonder it's happened. There's not really much money at our level. There's not loads of money put into like us, really. So it's not really a shock that it's happening a lot, and it will continue to happen a lot until things change.
It was with 3 and 4G pitches. I know a lot of people do say though that it isn't good for your joints. So would that solve the issue, playing on a 3 or 4G? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know if
I don't know, because it's hard with us, because if we go to a grass pitch in our league, Abby, they're normally really bad, aren't they?
Yeah, we mostly play on grass.
Difficult. So obviously, for me personally, when I played, I preferred like a 3G or 4G, because at least then you could play football rather than turn up to a game and there's potholes everywhere. Because we're more susceptible to like ankle injuries as well. So it's kind of I'd always prefer personally like a 3G pitch or something, because at least I know I've got a true surface. We want to play football. But because we ain't going to be like turning up to a pitch like a grass pitch and it being like carpet, really. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like when you're playing football like on grass and obviously it's muddy and that, like obviously I don't know if you've had it, Kay, but when like you're running and your boot gets stuck into the mud and you think like, and you can't really get your boot out or whatever, and that's what I'm saying. And in I think that some 3Gs, it's about stability as well. Do you know what I mean? Like you can probably turn as quick, but then because it's so hard, that's what's causing your injury as well. Because obviously it's the pressure on the ligaments and stuff, and then like when you're turning and like you're running and then you like turn again, and do you know what I mean? It's more of the stability and all the pressure that's going onto your knees and ankles and that.
And awareness on what boots to wear as well, because there are specific boots for that surface.
Your Gastro. Yeah, I've got some in my bag. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
but as I say, because and obviously I cover a lot of grassroots football men's side, and some of the pitches they play on are atrocious as well. But obviously they don't have the same issues regarding the injury. Obviously they don't have the menstrual cycle and all this sort of thing. So maybe it's
are they?
and they land in the balls of their feet or their toes. Who knows? But they're saying is but because you also play on poor pitches and you have the added problems that we've gone through on this show with ankle joints and knees and whatever, that could be a massive factor. And obviously the boots as well, it could be a huge factor in why more are getting injured in the women's game. I don't know. Obviously the top women play on brilliant pitches, but although some of them do play on non-league grounds. Not all of them play in the stadiums, do they? There's very few of the women's teams actually play in the stadium. Only the big ones really get in there. So So who knows? That all of that could contribute to. I don't know. It's there's a lot of science that goes into it. We don't know, but it's certainly a topic that needs to be discussed a lot more. That's for sure. And something needs to be. As Abby said, there needs to be an answer at the end of all of this. Otherwise, what's the point of doing all the research? So it's certainly something that needs to be addressed very well sooner rather than later. And
it does. In which we addressed, wasn't it? It was I think obviously now Beth Mead done her ACL. She's now spoken about or into the press or whoever that she wants to try and help out and try and find reasons of why this keeps happening and stuff. So hopefully people will listen to her and she'll be able to go away around it and obviously try and get that for not even herself and her teammates, but for all of us that are playing lower leagues.
I don't think they could. Like you can be ignored anymore. It can't be ignored if they're thinking of just sort of like trying to brush it under the carpet, because the voices will just get louder and louder. And there's someone like Beth Mead's now trying to, and she's got a very big voice now after what she's done, obviously in the Euros and stuff. And a lot of girls look up to her, and a lot of people look up to her now. Not just girls, men and boys as well. So, if she can add her voice to it, and if others that have done it can add their voice to it, then it can't. They're going to have to do. They can't. It can't be ignored. It's going to have to be listened to. So, definitely.
Yes, I'm just going through the research that we found here. Yeah, it says here female players have been given the option to manage their fitness and feel enabled and empowered to say to their coach, "Listen, I don't feel like training today." It had been known for players to flag this up to a coach, but have fallen on deaf ears. And obviously, it says here that's concerning. That really is concerning, Abby and Kaylee. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I think, I don't know. Obviously, I think with SeaWorld, obviously, we're lucky enough not to have that. But yes, people understand. If you look at like most coaches maybe could be men as well. So they might not, like you said, you research the menstrual cycle, and then on top of that, people sometimes have endometriosis, they have PCOS.
Yeah.
That's like there are all these things that again they take. I think on average, when I looked into it, it's like you wait 8 years for a diagnosis if you have endometriosis, which is periods are bad enough. Like Abby, they're bad, aren't they?
Is that what Leah Williamson had?
Yeah, that's what
it was, wasn't it? Yeah. She
got.
spoke about that recently. Yeah,
so she spoke about it recently. So it's I think it's again like everyone having awareness and educating themselves and now like people like Leah Williamson, like they're good because at least you've got people like a bit of representation. Whereas I think it will get better and better. And Emma Hayes, she's done a lot on it as well, but it's just filtering it down to the lower levels, and I think that's what it is, because I didn't even know like I was more prone to injuries like until a few years ago when I was young. I didn't have a clue. And and I'm a woman, so I should know. I just knew I was quite moody and in a lot of pain, and I wanted to cry and stuff. So, and I ate a lot as well. I like chocolate when I'm due on. So, I think people will be more aware now. But I do believe maybe, to be fair, that's mostly still going on now. And I think it's also people are worried. Because if you say, oh, I can't train because of X, Y, and Z, I don't know, if I didn't touch training, I'd be worried that, maybe I won't start. Maybe I'll be dropped, or maybe they'll think I'm lying, or whatever it is. So it's also that element of it. People want to push themselves. Even if you've got like a bit of a niggle, sometimes you might hide it because you think, I want to play football. So I think it's that as well.
That was going to be my question, is that, and also a lot of players just want to play and want to train regardless of what they're feeling.
Yeah.
So most probably wouldn't want to say to the coach, I don't want to train today, because they want to play, they want to train. So it's not always it's a value. I mean, as it also is another point regarding what we just said. Hopefully, that obviously something that is awareness is changing and has changed around the menstrual cycles in football. I think people are getting more. Hopefully, they'll get more. More education on it, because obviously female coaches, they know what their players are going through, because obviously they've been through it themselves. But some men, and I admit I don't know much about it until recently when I was researching this, maybe don't really didn't know much about this. So it's something that maybe there's more education. But as I said, would you turn up and not want to train? I mean, it's just most footballers I know just want to play football.
Yeah.
So,
but sometimes I think it's having something in place that it's like it ends up just being like the norm. Like if you've got a football club, like what Emma Hayes does, if at that time there's another session in place, right? You feel like that, okay, you do this session because that's actually more beneficial to you and prevent injuries and prevent blah blah. It's just having something in place, and maybe, but at all levels, obviously we ain't going to have exactly what they've got, but if the information's there, then people in clubs at lower levels can get that information and work together to make sure there is something in place. But yeah, lucky enough we've got sort of now like big role models in women's football. So, and we're lucky enough that they're speaking out, so, and inspiring people. So
I mean, they talk about the legacy, don't they, of the women in the Euros. Maybe this could be one of many legacies from it, for women's football going forward, that people understand the situation more regarding this, and try and prevent it happening, or do as much as you can to prevent it happening. I think
they will.
Yeah, that's the good thing.
Well, Chloe Kelly got the winner, and she done her ACL, didn't she, the year before?
She did. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
that's what I want my comeback to be.
Seawood in a cup final, or to win us the league ups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to add on what Kaylee was saying is, I don't know if you've seen that Chelsea One Team One Dream documentary. It's on YouTube, and like Kaylee said, Emma Hayes talks about like periods and stuff like that. But I think now it's just a part of life, isn't it? Like all like obviously people might feel like scared or like a bit childish, or like, oh, I'm on period, blah blah blah. But we as women, I think as well, we need to just think, you know what, we got to tell our like coaches or our managers to say, look, I'm on such a week, and then they go, all right, I might not do the running, or I might not do the jumping, or just to prevent, like, obviously not to get an injury or anything like that. And I think, like, obviously it just needs to be spoken about a bit more, and instead of hiding away and think, like it's a secret and we shouldn't like be telling anyone when we're on or when we're due on or due off,
They mostly know anyway, because we're all mostly a bit moody. So
yeah.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Joking,
It's something that it is. But it's all part of life, isn't it? I mean, it is what it. You just got to. I can understand the embarrassment, maybe, but at the end of the day, if you don't feel right, and you're on that cycle, then it could save your career. It could save you getting a massive injury, perhaps. It's actually quite interesting because I remember, tennis players at Wimbledon, female tennis players at Wimbledon. The all white tradition.
Yeah.
And of course, when they were on and they were worried about it showing up, and I think they are now allowed to wear a different colour. I think it was the rules.
And everyone knows they're on. I wouldn't like that.
No, that's what I mean. That's
know I was on, and she'd be like,
why,
"I'm going to get her because she's on her blog."
Yeah, I know. I get your point. I know that's true. Actually,
that's so obvious. She's wearing blue shorts. She's on the blog.
But they also said that about the England when in the Euros, they wanted to change the colour shorts into obviously not being white because of that reason.
Yeah.
And and you probably couldn't think of a more embarrassing thing to happen to you. Do you know what I mean? you're focused on your sport, you're doing what you've got to do, and then you know, like something obviously bad happens, it's obviously be embarrassing for everyone. But
two clubs have actually stopped the wearing of white shorts over period concerns. Man City and West Brom, their players don't wear white shorts because of those reasons.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
and it's universally across the club or across the women's setup. So yeah. which is I can understand that, to be honest, because if you're a woman, you're going to be concerned, and then obviously you're going to worry about getting all sorts of abuse or have the mick taken out of you, sort of thing.
I don't want to beat him up at the time. It's fine.
You probably would.
I'll tell you what. Right now, I wouldn't take the mickey out of anyone who was on a period. Okay.
You're clever.
Because I am. Right. Yeah.
Katie's a leader. She will knock someone out with her clutches clean out. Yeah. Yeah. So
it is a valid point for sure. Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly. And do you know what's interesting as well? Because obviously we're having this discussion. You two are obviously you're going through it and you go through all these things. But us as men, we are. It's good to see both the different perspectives of it. I can't talk now. Perspectives of it. Yeah.
This is why it's great. We can get people like you on the show, because it gives people listening and watching an insight into what you go through on a daily basis and how you have to deal with it. And people just don't. I mean, us men are clueless. I mean, we don't. I mean, you know, I think
every woman in the country will probably say that.
We will never know what you go through, and that's a fact. And you know, and obviously you're going through the injuries as well, and that can maybe help, even if that helps one person, you know, who's maybe listening or watching. So it's great. It's great to get an insight into what goes on, and you know, I think, you know, quite a lot of males got converted in the Euros in the summer, because you know a lot of men, they were like, oh, football, women football, this is, and I always used to say to them, have you ever watched it? And most of them were like, no. Why? I mean, well, how can you comment on it then? You don't know what it's, and you know, and a lot of them, I know a few that were very surprised at how good it was, and I was like, well, I told you, sort of thing. And then it's good that they're now getting. It's just education, isn't it? They all know, they need to know what you go through and how you know, how much you love playing the game and all this and that, and it's great. I think it's great listening to you too. So, and I'm sure others will know that as well. The other point we made about what can be done to help was obviously the boots, and they say that they'll be available for the Women's World Cup, which I think is it the end of the year? November time, isn't it? I think something like that. Was it? It's in
New Zealand. Yeah, is it?
It's Australia, New Zealand. I think it must be. I think it's towards the end of the year.
That'll be fun watching England at 3:00 in the morning.
I'll do it for the women.
Yeah, I know exactly. No. I love staying out watching them games, and I work 4 days a week at home, so it doesn't really matter. So. But that's still a few months away, isn't it? And how many more? How many more?
20th of July.
July. Well, so you're talking 6 months away. Why? I mean, I suppose it takes a while to. But if the companies in America are already doing it, surely there must be something out there they can get from. They must be able to do it sooner than July, surely. I mean, the fact they're doing it is a good thing, but how many more injuries are we going to get before July? I mean, it's just. Yeah. I don't know what sort of boot? So you two wear what, men's boots now still, or?
Yeah, I wear one might size like 5 or something. So like a lot of the boots that I want, because like the men's ones start in 6. I can I remember I would wear 2 pairs of socks, and my mum would be like, "Don't do it," because she won't wear them. I used to wear 2 pairs of football socks to try and get the boots that I wanted, but it never felt right on my foot, because I like my boot to feel so I can feel the ball, like I trip over and stuff. So But I normally, you can get copers. See, like the Adidas copers in size 5 sometimes.
Right.
So I get them. But I always wear boots with circles at the bottom because they're just, see, like boots nowadays got like hexagon shapes and that. And I think, of course, it's going to get stuck in the ground. So I'd always wear copers. But to be fair, I've done my ACL in them. So, but I never done my ACL by getting stuck in the ground. I've done my ACL by impact. So
that's true.
Yeah, but I'd always say like wear boots with like circles. Like, so if you do twist, a circle shape's going to twist. Whereas lift up, when I look at boots, I think like there's triangles, they ain't going to twist. Like if you get stuck in the ground, you're not going to, and I used to think that before I even done my ACL.
Yeah.
So, Abby, what do you use? You got hexagons or something? What you got?
Yeah, mine's in bad triangles, I think. I haven't seen my boots in a very long time, so I don't even know where they are, to be honest. No, obviously, like I was saying earlier, it's all about, sometimes it's about the colour, sometimes it's like how they look, but obviously, most of all, it's got to be comfortable. And I feel like you can't really get comfortable in men's football boots. I've never tried women's on, but I can only imagine they can be 10 times better because they're going to mould your foot.
I was going to say, have either of you ever had boots that you felt comfortable in your whole career? If you're not wearing boots that are made for your feet, or like
I think the David Beckham Predators, but I think that's. But obviously I had a pair of them when I was a kid, so back then I was just putting them on and obviously just going to play football. I weren't really bothered. I weren't really, like clued up on injuries and thought, if I hurt myself, I'll get up and go again. So it weren't really like I was worried about injuries. I just done it because they looked nice. Obviously Beckham was wearing them and everyone was wearing them and things like that,
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to know because I'm assuming the pro girls, the pro women, the ones that play Euros and stuff, I'm assuming they don't wear men's boots. They can't do, surely. They must get them made to their feet, the women's ones. Which would be another interesting point is if they do, if people like Beth Mead and Vivian Medema, if they were wearing boots moulded to their feet and they've still got ACL injuries, that is quite. I don't know what sort of boots they wear. It'd be quite interesting to know.
They could have like maybe. See, like the inner soles, you can get like special inner soles made to suit like the way you tread. So they might have stuff like that in place. Like, see, you get places you can go on a running machine. It looks at how you run, and it fits them to how you stand and stuff. So they might have like stuff. I'd like to think they'd have stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because that's more, yeah.
And we know the women's game isn't anywhere near as funded as the men, so they might not be able to do that. I don't know. I just suddenly thought that might be an interesting thing to find out. I don't know, but I'm sure they are. I'm sure that this will all be factored into their research what they're going on about. But that's a very interesting point. And exactly. I think have you ever, when you've been playing football properly, have you ever been comfortable in the boots you've been wearing?
Yeah.
It's a crazy thing, isn't it? Crazy situation, but
yeah, definitely. So obviously, before we finish, I will mention the World Cup as well quickly before we finish. So we'll go into the and finally. Obviously, the future we don't know what the future is going to hold. Abby, I take obviously you'll probably get or try and get a second opinion. Well, like Pete said, go and get as many opinions as you can until someone says, "Yeah, you're fine." But what's the plan? And if are you thinking of maybe doing other things like maybe coaching or something like that? Or
I've not really thought too much in it because I'm always keep telling myself I'm gonna play. I'm gonna stand there. I'm gonna prove this doctor
best
wrong,
way to
and
be.
I'm gonna be like, well, I might not be the first woman to do it, but I would say, no, I'm definitely going to play again. Like I will play again, and I've played football for a very long time. So obviously when the surgeon had said to me, I can tell you now that your career is over, I just looked at him and I kind of laughed a bit. And then he looked at me like, well, why are you laughing? And I was like, well, yeah, like, I'm sure that they have to tell everyone that. And he was like, no, honestly, like, that you won't be able to play like any impact sports. Like, you can't even go running on a running machine. And I'm thinking, really? And it obviously, for me, like, football is like a getaway for me mentally as well. So that's my time to not worry about life and just focus on playing football and having a bit of fun. And then when he said that was over, I just thought, like, you know, it really has affected me mentally. And I feel like now I just got that little urge to go and say to the doctor, like, no, I'm back playing football now, and I will continue to like play football. But if I do get a second opinion and it is still a no, then well, I'll have to get some more knowledge and try and go down the coaching route, I think.
At the end of the day, doctors are there to give an opinion, and many doctors have given out diagnosis and have been wrong many times. So I wouldn't give up hope yet. And it sounds like you haven't, so that's good.
It's the best way to be, Abby. Positive thinking, and we're all behind you.
I have 100% faith that you will be back playing again. You've got age and fitness on your side, so I can't see how. I don't believe him either. So
I don't either. Kaylee, your plans on recovery?
Yeah, plans of recovery. Well, I've not had my reconstruction up yet, so hopefully I'll get that as soon as I can get full movement in my leg and build the strength back up. I can have the next operation that'll be the same as what Abby's had. So this year is just going to be all about prehab and then rehab, and then I just want to. Oh, in my head, I just want to be in the best condition I can be in, or be in better condition than I was, and then get back to playing and starting for Seaward again in the first team. That's my aim. But yeah, it's going to be a long journey. So yeah, that's kind of my aim. And obviously, I do, like, in the meantime, I do want to try and help and educate myself and others on, like, injury prevention and ACL prevention. So I do want to kind of maybe, like, put a session together that the girls can do to try and prevent that. So I do want to, because again, like you said, if you can maybe prevent one person from going through this, then that's good. So I wouldn't want anyone to ever go through this. And I feel bad because I know people that have mostly gone through it, and I didn't know how bad it was at the time. So I feel guilty really about that. So
you didn't know, did you? So it's like you said at the start of the show. It's like, unless you've been through it, you don't know what you're going through. And by the way, when you go through your operation and you can't walk for 6 weeks, like Abby, if you need any chairs carried on your head, I'm your man, right?
You do it on your toes, won't you? You wouldn't do it.
I won't be flat footed, that's for sure. Yeah. I think another thing to a point is even if, you know, getting back to playing football again is obviously what you want to do, but it's quality of life. You want to be able to, you know, be able to walk properly again and just be a healthy person. I mean, that's the first and foremost. So, which I'm sure will happen, and I'm sure the football will follow. And we'll see you both in the Seaward first team again in the near to distant future. Hopefully,
we will 100%.
Yeah.
Excellent. Quickly before we go, we will mention, obviously, Pete mentioned the World Cup. It's in July. It's being held in Australia and New Zealand. So mad kickoff times, I can imagine. So obviously England are in. Let's have a look. They are in Group B, I believe. Is that what group are they in? Hang on, I've got it here. Yes. No, England are in Group D. England are either in a group with Denmark, China, and whoever wins the playoff. So that could be Chile, Senegal, or Haiti. So yes. Pete, your thoughts?
They'll win the group. They're going to win the World Cup. I'm going to put it out there. They're going to win the World Cup. We're just beating them. We're just beating the US at Wembley. So come on, you got to dream. We're European champions. We're, you know, we smashed Sweden 4-0, and they're the second best team in the world. You know, our squad is frightening. I mean, if everyone else looks at our squad, they don't want to be playing us, do they? So we'll win it. I'm going to say it right now. We'll win the World Cup.
I love your optimism.
You can't aim higher than that, can you?
I love your optimism.
We'll listen back to this in the summer, and I'll be like, I told you.
Yeah. Well, the finals are actually when we'll be back. The finals the 20th of August. So
there you go, then.
It's
See?
after
Perfect.
we come back from the summer break. So yeah.
There you go.
Kaylee and Abby, can the Lionesses do it again?
100%.
Yes. We can't rely on Harry Kane to do it, so we'll have to do it.
We've got to win it.
No, we had a great tournament at the Euros when it was, like you said, we brought it home, and I think like now and obviously like I don't know if you've seen Leo Williamson say that, you know, we've only got 6 days to change our lives. And then now look at their lives are now changed for the better.
Exactly.
And I think now that is their motive, and that's their stride to go, you know, we've done it at Euros, we've made women's football come a very long way, and then that's just their power then, isn't it? And just want to go all that way, and if they win, they win.
Inspire a nation again. That's what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They've done it. They've been there and done it on the biggest stage. You know, at the Euros, they've got that experience of winning a major tournament. So that's hugely important. Going when they won't fear anybody. You know, why should they? I mean, they've beaten the best out there. So
Quote of the season there from Abby. You can't rely on Harry.
Yeah, you enjoyed that comment, didn't you?
I enjoyed that one. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. So
the penalty's on the moon somewhere, and his second one. I mean, it went so high, didn't it? But
yeah,
unbelievable.
I did feel a bit sorry for him, to be honest. You know, he got a lot of stick after that, and the fact he even took the penalty. I mean, the amount of pressure he's under. But you know, it unfortunately it happens. It's just football, isn't it? So,
it is. Kaylee, will England do it?
Yeah, 100%. I believe it's got to happen.
Got to happen. Yeah,
I'll die happy if I want that to happen. That'd be my dream, honestly. I'll rewatch the Euro still now, just because.
Yeah.
As a little kid, I'll rewatch it. That's all I ever wanted as a kid. So, yeah, it's got to happen.
And you think that the players will be another year and a bit more experienced and a bit older and more experience at playing. You know, they're playing with some of the best players every week now in the WSL. So, you know, it can only be good for their experience and make them even better players, which is a scary thought.
Yeah.
And who think they could be European and world champions at the same time?
Oh, please.
Definitely.
It'd be amazing. It'd just be.
It'd be incredible.
Yeah,
it would be. I think it'll be mad because what to put it. Hopefully, like if England win the World Cup, I mean, we'll all be celebrating. I know Kaylee and Abby have been struggling with their injuries, but if England win the World Cup, they'll be doing the dancing like they do on that We Buy Any Car adverts.
Money celebration if I come back and score like Chloe Kelly did.
Yeah, exactly.
You're right, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Definitely. Yeah. Just obviously go through the quickly the other groups because there's some interesting teams in there. In Group A, you've got you've got New Zealand, who are obviously part hosts, along with Pete's international football loves in Norway.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously your mum's out there, bless her.
No, I've got family out there.
Yeah. Philippines and Switzerland. I mean, okay. See, Norway. And then it's an interesting one with the Norwegians because they didn't even get through the group stages, did they?
They can't do any worse than they did at Euros. I mean,
even against Northern Ireland, they weren't convincing.
We saw them beat Northern Ireland 4-1, but the second half they weren't great. Northern Ireland really did compete with them.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
and they lost 8-0 to England, which was a disaster. And then I saw them lose to Austria. So I saw them twice in that tournament. So I saw 2/3 of their games, but they're in a bit. The Norwegians are in a bit of a transitional period at the moment, and they had quite a lot of years of success. So they're at that sort of stage where they need sort of a bit of a rehaul. So I don't know how the World Cup's going to go. Probably, I wouldn't have them up there as dark horses, that's for sure. But they should get through the group, although hopefully they will. But we'll see.
Yeah, hopefully. Group B. The other hosts, Australia, in a group with Canada, Nigeria, and Ireland. So that we Canada should be favourites because Canada obviously got a good women's team as well. And I'm interested to see how Australia, the Republic, and Nigeria do.
But the Aussies aren't too bad. They're improving as a nation, as women football. So
yeah,
they'll probably fancy themselves to get out of that group. But
yeah, I mean, for Ireland, like their neighbours who done well in the Euros, it could be. I think they're just pleased to be there, aren't they?
It takes a lot to qualify for a major tournament. So the fact to even qualify is a huge thing for some of these teams.
Yes.
Sure.
So, and then you'll see in Group C is we got here. You got Spain, Costa Rica, Zambia, and Japan. And in Group E, you've got the USA, Netherlands, Vietnam, and playoff Group A. But that is, you could say that could be a bit of a group of death in a way, because obviously USA Holland and US. Yeah, Holland.
Yeah. Holland are good. I mean, they're not quite as good as they used to be. I think again they're trying to get through a period of they got a new manager, didn't they? And he wasn't everyone's cup of tea, was he? So, but they're still a decent side, Holland. I actually quite like. Was it? Yes. Obviously, Spain in the other group was Spain are a great side to watch. They play great football, don't they?
Yeah, we see them, didn't we, against Denmark?
No, we did actually. Yeah. That was a last-minute winner, wasn't it? But it's just I mean, they some of the football they play is spectacular. So
definitely,
it's a lot of possession football. But
Group F's got France, Jamaica, Brazil, and playoff Group C winners, whoever that will be. Group G, Sweden, South Africa, Italy, and Argentina. And Group H is Germany, who we also saw, didn't we, Pete? Morocco, Colombia, and South Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that will be
interesting.
A good tournament.
It should be a good tournament, but I mean, none of those sides scare me.
Yes.
So England are world champions.
Blimey. Oh dear.
Am I too confident?
Yeah, I'm joking. But England's games are obviously they've got whoever the playoff winners are first on the 22nd of July. That's my calculations is a 5:30 in the morning kickoff our time, and then they're four, and then the next game against Denmark will be on the 28th at 4:30 a.m. And the final game against China would be, I think, at 6 a.m. UK time.
That's not horrendous. That's all right.
Yeah.
Just get up early.
Yeah.
It's all right.
So yeah,
or just don't go to bed and then go to bed after.
Yeah, but that might be a good idea, especially some of the early kickoffs like they do. You could that'll work out well. But yeah, England. So Pete, you're putting your neck on the line. Yeah. England are going to win the World Cup.
Yeah, they're going to win it. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe try and maybe put a fiver on it. Although we don't encourage gambling on this program.
I did say Argentina would win the World Cup, by the way.
Yes, you did say that actually. Yeah.
Even after they lost their opening game, I still went. They're still going to win it.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes. Ending with a bit of a laugh. Evening to DW. He's just posted on Twitter and sent to us that it says it looks like things have taken an ugly turn in the royal household. In Sainsbury's, he's come across a Princess Madeira cake that's been reduced from £12 to 10p. Maybe this Meghan documentary is having a bit more impact than we thought.
I haven't got any words for that. I'm not even
let's not even go there. Yeah. Chelsea nearly equalised, but goal line. Oh, is it? Is it? Oh, he's giving it. He's giving it.
Yeah, it's a goal. Yeah,
it's a goal. Oh,
yeah.
Cooler back. Hey, look at his face.
It's about 2 foot over the line, so it's a goal. It's definitely a goal. The keeper sitting in the goal. He caught the ball and he's about 2 foot over the line. So it's like, it's a goal.
How come you support Chelsea, Abby?
Runs in my family, really, and then it was only because, like, obviously my uncle and all my cousins and that they all support Chelsea, and then growing up with my brother and all my cousins playing football, I just thought, it was normal. Support Chelsea. That was it.
West Ham, obviously local, Kaylee, isn't it? So that's probably why.
Yeah, local family. Yeah.
So it's good. Well, Abby and Kaylee, thank you so much for being here this evening. And we really, really appreciate you coming on and talking about your experiences. I know, obviously, considering we was talking about the impacts now, that must have been hard for you. And thank you so much for coming on and lending your time to talk about your experiences. And I really, really hope that not only can girls learn from this, and everyone can learn from this tonight.
Hopefully we really hope education for other people. Exactly.
It's been an education, and for us as well. And hopefully you'll both make the speediest of recoveries, and we're all behind you all the way. And keep us up to date with your progress as well, because we're behind you all the way.
You. Thanks for having us anyway.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's been a pleasure.
It's been really good. Really good, yeah.
Really, really, really good. Guest, now obviously guest and arrangements for next week still to be confirmed. I will need to speak to you about that after, if that's all right. And then, so obviously we will be back either way with the show next week. Guest to be confirmed, but we're also going to be coming back soon with our women's football series. That was another part of our women's football series. We're back with that soon. Ian, you're the button pusher. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. No worries.
Yes, and thank you very much. I hope it's been educational for yourself as well.
Yeah, good show.
Yeah, and because I know you don't know a lot about football, do you? So it's always educational, isn't it?
Yep, that's the one.
Definitely. Okay, well, Pete and I will be back soon, but thanks very much to our guests, for the radio listeners and the YouTube listeners, or viewers. Thank you very much, and we will see you soon. Good night.